Dear Lord, how long have I been out for? When was my last upload? Ooh, yikes. As much as being in cryosleep would have been a good excuse for my inactivity, university work has been eating me whole as of late. I have to submit my dissertation by next month, and don't ask me how that's coming along. Anyways, I thought to make a video before I seclude myself from the outside world for an entire month to finish my dissertation, after which I'll be free. I'll finally be free. If you just ignore the fact that I have to go job hunting, if you ignore the fact that I'll have to go searching for a place to stay for next year, if you just ignore the fact that I'll finally have to be an adult with adult responsibilities, then everything is fine. Right? Right? Everything will be fine. So, our animation budget ran out after all that, and it's just gonna be PowerPoint slides from here on out. Anyways, Japanese by example, part 3. Let's continue where we left off.
おーい、ループを起点に扇の状態キープするのやめなさい。
はい。
Yikes. Big sentence, am I right? I'll repeat it more slowly just in case you didn't catch it the first time. ループを起点に扇の状態キープするのやめなさい。Let's break it down a bit. やめなさい. We already know what that means. It's something you say when you want someone to stop doing something. What that something is, we can figure out by looking at this part of the sentence. Now, as for the no particle at the end, if you can recall from the first part of this series, やめなさい only accepts nouns. Any verb will have to be nominalized first. Over here we have suru, which is just this generic action verb, roughly meaning to do. As a verb, it can't directly be attached to o yamenasai. The no particle addresses this issue, essentially turning the entire expression on the left into a noun. With that said, if we can now bring our focus to the left half of the sentence, I'll repeat it again, this time highlighting the relevant vocabulary. ループを起点に扇の状態キープする。起点, this means starting point. 扇, this refers to a Japanese traditional handheld fan. 状態, this can mean state, condition, appearance, situation, etc. In this instance, I believe appearance is appropriate, so 扇の状態 refers to the appearance of a fan, or you could also say a fan-like state. Keep, this is just the English word keep. The specific meaning of keep that is being used is the same keep used in phrases such as keep at it or keep going, etc., etc. i.e., what we specifically mean by keep is maintenance of a current status. Combining this with suru gives to maintain a current status. All in all, 扇の状態キープする means to maintain a fan-like appearance. And this refers to the fan-shaped pose that the two students are maintaining while riding on their loop. So now comes the hard part. How does ループを起点に play a role here? 起点, as mentioned previously, means starting point. This often refers to a physical location. For example, 駅伝コースの起点に選手が勢ぞろいしています。The players are gathering at the starting point of the relay course. Starting point can also refer to more abstract objects, for instance, a particular time, event, or an idea. For example, このプロジェクトの起点は昨年のマーケティング戦略の見直しからだよな。The starting point of this project was last year's marketing strategy review, right? Indeed, 起点 in most dictionaries is given the meaning 物事の始まるところ, which roughly translates to the origin of things. Now, the specific way 起点 is used in our example is an instance of the A を起点に B pattern. Now, I believe that this is a shorter way of saying A を起点にして B, where A を起点にして is an instance of the にする grammar pattern, which is used to express the idea of making or deciding something to be a certain way. For example, それを以下にすることが無理です. It's impossible to make it below that. In our example, A を起点にする means to turn A into or to decide on A as a starting point. All in all, A を起点にして B roughly means with A as a starting point, then B. For those of you who are aware of the として grammar pattern, you can think of A を起点にして B as being more or less the same thing as A を起点として B. And for those of you who are unaware, I don't know. Go learn some more Japanese, I guess. Anyways, I think the best way to visualize what A を起点に B is trying to convey is to think of A as a seed which you first plant, then after some further development, out comes B. So let's try this out with some examples I found from none other than the site formerly known as Twitter, X.com. You know how everyone used to bitch about the name change? Well, now it's finally my chance to do the same. Except I'm a few years late to the party because that's just how infrequently I upload. Anyways, example 1. 前職での気づきです。これを起点に組織ビジョンや人材育成プログラムを作っていました。This came from a realization I had at my previous job. Using that as a starting point, I developed the organizational vision and personnel development programs for our company. So, with the seed analogy, this person used their previous job experience as a starting point, and this later led to the development of programs for their current company. Example 2. 中国人留学生が来ること、実態はいいんよ。そこを起点として悪影響が起きてないかが問題なのよ。Chinese students coming here to study is a good thing. The issue is in whether any negative influence arises out of that. In this example, the seed is 中国人留学生が来ること、the arrival of Chinese students, and the sprout is 悪影響が起きてないか。Will there be any negative influences? If you're still feeling unsure, it's pretty easy to search up some more examples on Twitter or Google. Just type in を起点に in quotation. It appears to be a pretty commonly used phrase, judging by how common the tweets are. Now, going back to our example, ループを起点に扇の状態キープする. We start with a loop, and using that as a starting/base point, you create and then maintain the appearance of a fan. So that, I believe, is what this sentence is trying to convey. Personally, I felt like using で would have been more natural, so something like ループで扇の状態キープする. But hey, what the heck do I know? I'm not even Japanese. Anyways, I believe my job here is done, and assuming I survive next month, I'll see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.